You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's your friends at Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Back with you once again. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
What a last couple of episodes. What some epicness we've been doing lately.
Well, just lately?
Just lately. Just the last few. We had our episode 400 anniversary clip show. We had the Pooh Bah Awards. We had the 2024 movie preview. We hope you're all caught up on that fun stuff. Those are unmissable episodes, right? Those are like
right. I thought that's all we were doing in 2024.
Yeah.
No regular episodes.
I haven't listened.
It's only lists and award shows and special events. That's it. New format.
Like Punky Brewster, only special episodes.
That's true.
All bangers. Oops, all bangers.
So Pro Comics has a Kickstarter out.
My boys are so pro.
So I watched.
You can help us get Insectakid issue 4 published. I've been lettering it at the moment. It's all drawn, getting ready to go to print. So you can be the first on your block to order your copy via Kickstarter, soprocomics.com.
How many variant covers?
A few. Not as many as most books out on the shelves today.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Because they have to step it up because everything I look at has 17 freaking variant covers.
It's gotten out of hand for sure. I couldn't even sell them this past week. I've had the technological problems. My credit card reader. I got an email somewhere January 20 something. I get an email saying it's reached end of life, and you can still keep using it, but they're not going to get any more updates. There'll be no security. If something goes wrong, they can't fix it. There's nothing going to happen. So if you want a new one, let us know, but yours is about to go kaput. So I just rent it. You can buy them, but I'm not going to buy something that's going to go, it's going to go out of date.
How long have you had that one?
I've had it. I've paid way more renting it than I would have just buying it outright for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've had that one quite a long time.
Is it the original one, or is this like the second or third, or
it's probably at least the second. It might even be the third. But so about 2 days before it reaches end of life, I have a customer come in. Oh, it won't connect. Oh, what's going on? It won't connect. I tried a couple of times, won't connect. So I do the I do the tech support thing. I unplug it and plug it back in. Still doesn't work. So this one is through the phone line. It has to dial up through the phone line. That's how old it is. So I checked. I got a dial tone. The phone's working. I called my own cell phone to make sure the call went through. The phone's working, so it can't be the phone's problem. So I called tech support, and they're like, "No, we're seeing you're online. We ran a test through it. It looks like it's got to be the phone." So if I got a dial tone, it's like, "Oh, sometimes that happens. It'll reset itself within the hour. Yeah, that's nothing we can do on our end." So I sat there all day waiting, couldn't make a sale all day. It never did fix itself. So I just went home that night. It's like, okay, maybe overnight it'll reset, whatever. So I get there early that next morning and run my own credit card just to test it. Nope, still not connecting. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? So I find the number for tech support again. I'm like, I'm going to have to call these guys again. Then it crossed my mind, wait a minute. I didn't unplug and plug back in the actual phone router, like my internet phone. So I tried that. came right back on. Card ran through fine. So I literally sat there all day without a credit. I unplugged and plugged it back in the card reader, but not the router. So I made the mistake number 1 for all of tech support.
Now that you got it figured out, it's right just the day before end of life now.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had already ordered the new one.
Oh man.
And I ordered it, and they said, "We see yours is still through the phone line. Do you want it? Do you want one that does Wi-Fi?" I was like, "Yes, I would very much like that. Thank you. Why has no one offered that to me before?" Cool. So the box shows up. It has the card reader, a power cord, and a phone jack, phone line, phone cord. It has 2 instructions: plug in the power, plug in the cord. It'll work. It already had all my info programmed in, had my address, had all my banking info. Like, it had everything preset, ready to roll. Plug it in, it won't work. Will not connect to the internet. Like, what in the world? So I plug it into a couple different, there's 3 or 4 jacks on the back of it. I just start mixing and matching it. It won't work. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? I'm going to have to call these people again. And then I realized, wait a minute, it's supposed to go into the Ethernet port. It's like, wait, what is this cord they gave me? They had just given me a phone cord. So I had to Google, phone cords are different from Ethernet cords, right? Like, they're different. It's like, yeah, they are. So it needed an Ethernet cord, but they sent me a phone. So I had one in a box somewhere. I dug it out, plugged it in. It worked fine. So I don't know why they sent me a phone cord for a thing that's not hooked up through the phone anymore. But yeah, I love technology. It's a lovely advancements we've made.
So you now own 2 credit card readers.
No, they gave me a.
Oh yeah, he was renting them. That's right.
Right. They sent me a sticker. I had to mail it back. They sent me a thing, a UPS slip. I had to stick on the box and mail it, which they didn't even tell me I had to do. It just showed up.
Are they going to bury it?
I don't know what they're
end of life.
It's over. It's over, baby. But I got to go to the UPS store in the morning and send her back.
Oh, man.
You spent more time with that thing than they did.
No doubt.
You should get to bury it where you want. It's my
common law credit card.
It should be buried on your property.
That's one of those things you put in like a shadow box and hang up on the wall.
Exactly.
On
behind it, it's like your first dollar you ever made, and
2003 to 2024.
Right.
That's where I found my Ethernet cord. I've just got a plastic tote in my closet of just old. Here's a thing. Here, that's a speaker to something. That's a cord and a jack and a splitter and I've just got my junk drawer, my technology graveyard junk drawer.
We all have them just in case in 15 years I've held on to some cord. At some point I'm going to use it again.
Technology is going to advance, but they're going to come back around.
Right.
Hey, people are buying records again.
But the thing goes much faster. Because my thing was so slow, everyone would start pulling the cards out. It's like,
between shopping there now and shopping at the Parmar over here, I'm saving freaking hour a week that I used to stand there at these things that are so slow. Now, in and out.
So, I was going to make a 2 TV joke there, but that's a little too inside baseball. So, yeah, that's lightning fast. Do you do the Apple Pay and the Google Pay?
Got, like the tap to pay.
Yeah.
Thing. We're equipped, baby.
Oh, that's amazing. People can just tap their card and you can throw comics at them as they head out straight out the door. They don't have
to break stride.
I pulled a fast one on the barbecue place today. It was great. I hope they're listening. I came across the street and the guy was looking out the door looking for customers. It seemed like he's looking around. So I came walking up there and got on my phone like I was kind of absent-minded. And I walked up to their door and opened it up and started to take a step inside and looked. I was like, oh no, I wanted the comic book store. Shut the door. Oh, the look on their faces is like, what the hell?
Places, everyone, places.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Wow.
What are we doing?
Podcast.
Oh, podcast.
That's what we're doing.
Anybody watch any good television lately?
You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night!
Marsha!
What's something right, yo? Yo, son, come on, yo, Omar's coming, man.
I'm Prison Mike. You know why they call me Prison Mike?
Beavis, please sit down.
Are you threatening me? I am Cornholio.
First sign a youngster's going wrong, you got to nip it in the bud. Nip it.
And I'm sitting there with Woody, and I turn to him and I go, boy, these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Picture it. Sicily, 1939.
What you talking about, Willis?
Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor? My neighbor.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Oh, guess what?
What?
The Netflix started working at my house. And,
account?
Yes.
What cord did you plug in to get
So I
that?
pay for Netflix, and you use my account.
Well, that was the good news. It just, I was like, clicked the button and it started working. And,
I'm curious though, because there's no, I assume they have to pay specifically for these extra accounts, people using it. So
there's
does
so
this
many
disconnect
people.
someone else? Or?
Well, I don't know. Who knows how many?
I assume
people are
him.
on this
He's
account.
probably the only one that can't use it.
So I was like, cool. I'm going to watch the new He-Man show. Kevin Smith, season 2, whatever. So I did. And
3, is it?
This
is season 3, isn't it?
No, 2.
2?
2.
Okay.
We had Revelation. And then we had Revolution, or we had
it was
Revolution,
2 parts.
Yeah.
That was 2 parts. No.
So anyways, the first season was, they dropped in 2 parts. So anyways, I started watching it, and I just so happened that they were short episodes. There weren't very many of them. And so I stayed up and watched it, the whole thing. And thank God, because the very next day it was gone. And I was no longer included in the household. So that happened. But then I came home today, and my wife and daughter had they had restarted our own Netflix account that we haven't used in years. So
3 income household.
That's right.
They finally are going to get Netflix.
Just a one Netflix account. So yeah, so apparently they signed up for a month or something. I don't know. But the point was, I watched He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and I
watched a couple episodes.
A lot of people really hated the first season of it on Netflix. I thought it was fine. Watched this whole season, and I thought it was pretty good. It progresses and bringing back some classic characters I did not expect to see again, and kind of has a funny ending, but lots of costume changes. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought Kevin Smith his He-Man is fine. For what it is, it had a pretty cool ending in kind of a credits, a little extra credit scene in there. So That was kind of neat. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was better than the first season. I'm sure most people probably would, but yeah, glad I watched it.
The other big animated drop we had recently was season 2 of What If on Disney Plus. That came out around the holidays. I think they put out like an episode a day.
Yeah.
Like Christmas week, something like that. I watched the first couple, and then I actually forgot about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't super invested into it, and I just remembered a couple days ago, like, oh yeah, I never did finish that. So I went back and watched them. 9 half-hour episodes.
Oh wow, there's that many. Okay.
Yeah. Did you check it out, Clay?
2 or 3, and kind of the same thing. That was as far as I got. Just
I'm not sure. Like, it should be right up my alley. I watch everything else Marvel. I don't know. Like, and it brings in most of the actual actors. Like, it's kind of impressive, except for Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson. There's some sound-alike actors for them, but Benedict Cumberbatch, Paul Rudd, Chris Hemsworth, Sam Jackson. Like, it brings in most of the actual actors. So I don't know. I'm not sure why I'm not really hyped for it, but it was like I literally forgot it existed. So I guess that's not a good sign.
I don't know. What I watched was fine. Like you said, it's just continuing on from a good start. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been really big into TV lately. I was telling somebody at work that the other day. I don't know, and I've kind of been that way for a while. Like, I've gotten into this lull of like, come home, work's over at 5. I get home, we eat dinner, and we've just been kind of watching a lot of like Disney vlogs and that type of YouTube.
I was going to
stuff.
say, I know you're just watching YouTube Disney vlogs. That's
a lot of
that. Gen Z kids today.
Oh, I'm telling you. So
they're killing. They've killed everything. Now they're going to kill TV next. Yeah. I wrote down the episode titles. Episode 1 was What If Nebula Joined the Nova Corps. It was a weird kind of Blade Runner like crime story. She's trying to solve a murder. 2, what if Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes? So that was a world where he kind of went along with Ego and was going to help him do his plan from Guardians 2. 3 was what if Happy Hogan saved Christmas, which was basically Happy Hogan in Die Hard in Avengers Mansion. That was one of the better ones. 4, what if Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster? It was him on that world. There's a weird like death race with these souped up hot rod machines. Like, yeah, it was
blood drive. Is this a blood drive situation?
Yes. 5, probably my favorite episode. What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? So it was kind of a take on the Bucky situation. So it was Steve in that big robot from the first season was basically the Winter Soldier. They were using that robot to do evil things. So Captain Carter had to, try to talk him down and stop evil brainwashed Steve Rogers. 6 was what if Kahori reshaped the world, which was this new character, Native American, voiced by Devery Jacobs, who was in Echo and Reservation Dogs. So it was kind of a Tesseract fell to America hundreds and hundreds of years ago and kind of gave this tribe powers. And then when the conquistadors came over looking for the Fountain of Youth, it was there looking for the Tesseract, basically. 7 was what if Hela found the 10 rings. So it was a take. It was kind of the Thor origin story, but with Hela. Odin took away her power and sent her to Earth to humble her, and she couldn't get her powers back until she be worthy. And so she met up with the dude from Shang-Chi and trained in the secret mystical, Chinese. What was that place? With the dragons and all that stuff.
Yeah.
From Shang-Chi. 8 was when I was most. Was that?
Nothing.
Kunlun if you order it from Wish, yes.
Yes.
The one I was most looking forward to, episode 8, What If the Avengers Assembled in 1602? So kind of a new take on that classic Neil Gaiman comic where the Avengers of, Shakespearean age England. That was fun. I don't know, it didn't live up to what I hoped it would be. But in episode 9, What If Strange Supreme Intervened? Which this is bringing back the zombie evil Strange from that first season and what he's been up to, and it kind of brings the whole 2 seasons together.
I never would have expected. They did that the first season, and I was like so surprised. I don't know what to think of it.
There's a continuity.
Yeah. Like, would you have ever expected that? I thought What If was going to be like the comics, and like everything was just one tangent that would be a story. And then I would never think that these would tie together. Like I don't know that I'm not like, wow, what a great idea. I'm just bewildered by it.
Right.
It's like, who cares what if this happened to a what if scenario?
Right.
You don't what if on top of a what if. I want to know what would happen just with the regular universe. I don't know. I'm not into it.
Yeah, watchable, fun Marvel stuff, but not the most pressing thing. If you're going to watch, one thing on Disney Plus, this wouldn't be the top of my list. Which I guess we talk about Echo on Disney Plus and Hulu for some reason. I'm not sure why it
I don't have Disney Plus anymore, but I was able to watch some of it on Hulu.
I don't know if that's just them desperate now, like trying to figure out. The last couple have been below expectations, and they're like, "What? Oh, just put it on every platform we can, whatever." They even called it. They labeled it Marvel Spotlight.
That just annoyed the heck out of me.
Which that's what they did, the Moon Knight thing, like the one-shot episode or whatever. Like, why is this different from any of the other shows? Why is this a spotlight?
Yeah.
They had an explanation for it that specifically the Marvel Spotlight was supposed to be, you don't need to know anything. That was the point of it. They explicitly stated that is what Marvel Spotlight was supposed to be. You did not need to have any background. You could just watch this. And then the first episode is incomprehensible. If you they're showing you tons of flashbacks. Even if you have watched the stuff before, it doesn't make any sense. It's just, I was like, what? Take that spotlight and throw it in the trash. Like, that was the dumbest thing to call it that, and then have it just explicitly tie into everything. It was crazy.
Didn't they do the same thing? Didn't they show with Star Wars? They showed Andor or Ahsoka or something on ABC, like after it had been on.
Yeah,
they've done that a couple times. Like the first episode, they'll play on primetime, ABC network,
trying to get people interested.
Yeah, but this one debuted day and date, same time on Disney Plus and Hulu, all 5 episodes.
It was great. Yeah, it was great that they did that. It wasn't a great show.
It was fine. Like I said, the first episode was bad because it was the first half hour was just trying to recap some of Hawkeye, but not all of it. And then here's this character, and here's some new footage with the Kingpin, and then it finally kind of kicked off. And then you could tell the budget was low. Every episode there was basically one action piece every episode, and then a lot of riding my motorcycle very sullenly and having a long conversation with this person. And so it was. They didn't throw the money at it that they did of these last few, She-Hulk and these other shows that weren't as beloved. But for what it was, and look, comparing it to maybe like the Netflix era, those kind of shows, a more grounded reality, I thought it fit in fine with those. They even had a Charlie Cox, brief cameo tying it to the Daredevil world. I enjoyed it for what it was. An interesting character. fairly new as far as comic book characters go, introduced in the probably early 2000s, I would guess. But they changed her powers and her backstory a little bit. The name of Echo in the comic, she's like Taskmaster. She can see an action being done and she can do it. She has like photographic reflexes or whatever those are called. So the show never quite the show never went into that. And it's like, does she even have powers, or is she just a good fighter? I don't know. But then they're saying the Echo is because she can. They've made it kind of a mystical backstory where she has access to her ancestors, and she, all the knowledge and skills of her ancestors echo through the years, and she can access that, and like, so her hands start glowing like the Iron Fist, and she can do all this stuff that's I don't know. They sci-fi'd up her backstory a little bit, but again, it wasn't bad, but
yeah, it was. Yeah, there's too much stuff to watch. Once if something starts to bore me, I'm just like, nope, go to jail.
Oh, you never finished it?
No.
Yeah, I did. I watched the whole thing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I watched the whole
I was like, Cliff doesn't even watch TV. Seth doesn't finish TV. What are we going to talk about?
Yeah, no, I watched.
I finished good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't definitely not my favorite of any of those shows, but for Marvel on Disney Plus. But I mean, it was fine. It was watchable. I really thought the first couple episodes were maybe not great, and it definitely got better as it went along. But I mean, the powers thing, I don't know, it was whatever. It was very predictable and seemed just kind of, I don't know, just run of the mill, more or less. Like, I didn't see anything. Yeah, I didn't see anything that I was like, oh, cool, that's something different. But good enough for me.
The greatest moment was the fight in the bowling alley.
Yeah.
And she rips the guns out of the arcade game and like whips them around like nunchucks. Like, all right, there we go. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the shooter
like
game.
Her ancestors did.
Right. Exactly.
Her ancestor from 1982 was pumping quarters into Lethal Enforcer.
Yeah.
So.
No, the main star, Alaqua Cox, like, this is basically her first role as a deaf amputee native woman. Like, it's if you're gonna
it's a lot, yeah.
You gotta be a very specific casting director to find the right actress for that. But they did, and she did a good job. So a lot of it was sign language, and I don't know, all the actors seemed.
I mean, that was like how they used sign language, to communicate against the bad guys or whatever was fairly clever. Now the only thing was, though, it's like they're saying she's been gone out of this town for 20 years. Like, why does everybody know sign language?
Right.
And her family and stuff? Like, they haven't seen her in 20 years, but right. they're all it's like it's their first language. So whatever.
And it was weird because I had been watching Reservation Dogs, and like everyone in this was in that show as well. The native cast, like both grandparents, Graham Greene and Tantu Cardinal, Devery Jacobs, Zane McLaren, like almost the entire cast is also in Reservation.
It's hard to follow when they're doing all that stuff. Like, it's like, weren't you just traveling cross country? I can't keep track of this.
And I was wrong listening to the last episode where we were talking about Lily Collins. Lily Gladstone, sorry. And I said, oh, she wasn't even in the third season. I've watched every episode but the last one. And I said, she's not even in the last season. Oh, no, she's in the last episode in a very pivotal scene. I was like, oh, I was completely wrong. She is in season 3.
Wow.
Retraction.
It's not very professional.
Yeah.
I watched a good show on Prime. Binged it pretty quick because it was good. It's a Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Donald Glover and Maya Erskine.
Mm-hmm.
I'd only seen her in Pen 15. That show was really funny. I loved where her and that other girl, totally adult women playing, you know,
Yeah, they're playing themselves at 13
tweeners.
years old. Yeah,
but playing with all the other characters are played by the appropriate age. They're just kids, but they just, I mean, it's just a good show. But anyway, I'm just befuddled that this is the same girl that was in that, because she's like,
she does not look.
Yeah, she doesn't look anything like that. But anyway, it's basically they're just using the title Mr. and Mrs. Smith to get you in the door, to to get this green lighted for Donald Glover to make this show. That's not really
that almost like backfired on me, because I'm like, if you say a spy show with these two actors, I'm like, that could be cool. But then I saw Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I was like, I know what it is. Like, it kind of seemed less to me because of that.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, if they, I think I mean, I assume that's what you got to do to get something on, to sell something sometimes. But that, I mean, it uses a little bit of that DNA, but it's just basically, it's almost more of a rom-com. But I mean, it's got all the spy stuff in it, but nothing, you can't take any of it too seriously. It's like, don't try to pay too much attention to the reality of how the spy stuff would go down. It's really more about their relationship, they're of course forced together to pretend they are married and work as spies for whatever this organization is they're working for. But mostly it's them dealing with their relationship that's developing throughout. I thought it developed a little too fast, but they got to fit a lot in a few episodes. I mean, even I think the episode titles are like first date, first trip, that kind of, it's all as if it's just all about their relationship. And it's got tons of stars in it, just in cameos, but it's not so much about, it's not just for Flash. I feel like they really thought about who they were casting for certain roles. Like they are inappropriate roles. John Turturro, Paul Dano's in it. Parker Posey has a pretty big role. She's in a couple episodes, and I really enjoyed it. It's strange. It's really strange, but it's like it's a really a Donald Glover creation. And he's trying to do something here. I thought it was one of the better things I've watched recently. It does take any time to go through, and it's very enjoyable. But it has, I don't want to say that it's not Mr. and Mrs. Smithy. It is that. There's a lot of action, and it's well done. It's just, it really has nothing to do with what they're doing, though. It's just, fun action. I don't know. I thought it was really good. I like both of them quite a bit. I hope, I assume there will be more of this, and I thought it was a good romp. It's very funny. Very, there's little twists on the relationship, on how they deal how everyday relationship problems, dating things going on, and meanwhile, as the absurd is happening, and they're just dealing with little problems, but that was good. Would recommend.
We've been playing a lot of catch up, just for shows apparently that came out a year ago, because we were back on Apple Plus, so we had watched.
I just got back on it too.
Yeah, we finally watched season 3 of Ted Lasso, and it was great. Thoroughly enjoyed the entire series. Just each and every season, kind of a different theme, but it just progressively got better and better. And I know the third season was probably a little sillier, and extra happy and positive for the most part, but I really did enjoy it. Thought it, if that's all we get from Ted Lasso, if that's the end of Ted Lasso, that was a good place to stop at. Also, we watched, Alicia and I watched, kind of binged through that show Platonic with Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen. And that was good too. We really it is pretty funny. For whatever reason,
I thought it was good. I will watch more. If they make more of that, I'll watch it.
Those two work very well together in a male and female lead. So that was really good, really funny, well written, wasn't all that predictable, like I thought it was going to be. So that I definitely recommend both of those if you haven't seen Ted Lasso or Platonic yet. So
another spy show. Speaking of Apple, I keep hearing people talk about that show Slow Horses. They've had 3 seasons now. And I never watched it because I just could not. I didn't think I would like it. It's that Gary Oldman show, and I never watched that Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. It just looked too slow. I'm honestly not a huge Gary Oldman fan. I know he's just always up for awards and stuff, and I think he's fine. But I've heard so much buzz about how good this was, so I thought I'd check it out. It's like a British spy show, and it's basically like the rejects from MI5 get put into his group called Slough House, and they go there and have to do like the crappy spy stuff, and they're always trying to work their way back up into the real thing. But and he's just a garbage person. He just eats with his mouth open and is just disgusting the whole time, but he's a really good spy, and it's just a misfit group of spies, and that's always fun to feel like the underdogs are doing better work than the pros. But it's good. I burned through the first season. I thought it was really good, and I'm into the second season watching. I'm the buzz was right if you like that type of thing. But I thought it's a really good spy show, but it also is, it's got a Kristen Scott Thomas. Her and him are the big stars in it, but they both do a good job. I like all the characters, and but it's got some funny stuff here and there, but it's mostly about the people.
There's not, I don't know, just my opinion, there's not a lot of content on Apple Plus. It just appears that way to me. But
there's a lot coming out. There's a bunch of stuff that they just released in a week or so ago. They announced a bunch of stuff. Some show with Colin Farrell and
I feel like the stuff that is on there is usually pretty good. So far.
I've watched now that I'm back on there, I was trying to see what I haven't caught up with, but
you get through the morning show yet?
Well, I had watched the first 2 seasons, so there's a 3rd season on there I haven't seen, but I heard it was the worst season. But
Alicia really likes it. I feel it's a lot of drama for drama.
Yeah, and then I like that show For All Mankind. Is that? I think that's it. It's like it's their space show or whatever, but it's like an alternate timeline of events. Like if the space race had went differently, if the Russians had beat us to the moon, I think is how it originally started, and it made us focus on technology to try to really get into a race with technology, how far more advanced we would have been throughout the years. And basically each season is a decade. So they're probably caught up to almost modern day by now. I haven't watched 4th season yet, but I liked every season of it. It's a good show. It's got Joel Kinnaman, but it's a good show. So I've got stuff to watch on there.
Yeah,
get my money's worth.
Netflix. Last thing I probably have for this episode, but Netflix. Love on the Spectrum.
I
season.
Was going to say it if you didn't.
Yeah.
One of my favorite shows.
Oh, so good. We were watching some tonight, Carly, and Carly had it on when I came home from work.
It's the most precious, adorable thing
it is
you've ever seen.
They're all great.
Yep. And if you don't know what it is, it's they follow people who are on the spectrum and trying to find love. They're just trying to find love.
It's an Australian show.
They had 2 seasons of Australians I watched a few years ago, and now they just released the 2nd season of the U.S. version. And it's just you just love everybody because they all are just so they don't want to do the wrong thing. They've spent you could tell they've all went through similar circumstances.
Yeah.
Most of them have. At least the ones on the show have very solid families that supported them, and you could tell that they have some baggage of not wanting to do or say the wrong thing, so they're always talking very almost regally. Yes, sir. How are you today?
It's all very proper.
Yeah. Oh, very proper. Yes, it's just not wanting, and they're very trying not to hurt each other's feelings.
Yeah.
It's just so nice to see how genuinely kind-hearted they're trying to be to each other. It's just
they're overly aware of
and the fact that as hard as they're trying, they do have these difficulties where they don't see where they will just hurt each other by saying things that they're not aware they're saying.
Right.
It's not nice. Yeah. So it's just that kind of adds the humor to it, and it's
we were watching
just
some
riveting.
Tonight, the guy that it's like a speed dating situation, and he's got that chart or that piece of paper with some questions, and everybody
has a list of the names that are the people that are gonna come to your table and date you. And then it has a yes or no, and then if you want to put a comment there, and they'll come up and sit down, and he'll ask a question, and they answer, and he'll just reach down there as they're sitting there and just put a big X in the no box, and then anything else, they're looking down like, oh, does it to the next person? It is like he has no idea. He is not doing it to me mean.
Nope.
The producer says to him finally, "Are you marking that while they're sitting there?" He's like, "Aren't we supposed to?" Oh, I knew I'd do something wrong. Yeah. Oh no, and it's just he feels so bad, and it's just so sweet.
Yeah, great show.
You'll bawl your eyes out. Watch it, you'll bawl your eyes out.
As soon as the new season dropped, like my TikTok,
I just inhale it.
Yeah.
Oh. I can't stand it. I just inhale the whole season in one setting. I can't stop watching it. Every country needs to have this, so they put out more episodes. It's not enough. Not enough.
So better than Farmer Wants a Wife or F-Boy Island or Milk Manor or any of those things.
I never watched MILF Manor or F-Boy Island. That's too far. I don't want any part of it. I'm still watching Quantum Leap. Yeah, do you guys ever watch any of this new Quantum Leap? Well, it's on Peacock.
Just the first episode or two.
Yeah,
I
like the guy.
Quantum Leap in the
character's
80s.
name's Ben Song. I don't know the actor's name, but they dropped some of the second season. I got Peacock a month or so ago and caught up on the first half of the second season, and then they've dropped a couple episodes since then. And I never liked the girl on it. I did not like his girlfriend, who was and she would basically be Al. She would be the hologram. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't. I don't know. just kind of annoyed me. But anyway, they basically got him a new girlfriend the second season.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, now this party's picking up. This is way better. I like the new girl better. So that other girl's still there. I'm sure that is
He's telling the new girlfriend, just ignore the hologram in the corner.
Yeah.
Means
they kind
nothing.
of do rotating holograms in the second season. They let some of the other characters do it because, I won't go into the story, but
holographic throuple.
Yeah. Hey, maybe they might do it. But I like some of the stuff, like they're not going extremely what you want, but they're not afraid to use the history of Quantum Leap and mention Sam Beckett. And I'm sure ultimately they would love to get Scott Bakula involved in this in some way. But
wouldn't we all?
Yeah. I hope they're building to something. But they do some clever things here and there. I haven't stopped watching yet, but they're not all bangers.
I've been watching a couple of game shows that have dropped recently. After Midnight.
It's back,
CBS, baby. On CBS after Colbert. This is kind of a retooling of the old Chris Hardwick show from Comedy Central at midnight.
Oh,
where they had 3 comedians on there and just made jokes about what was going on the internet that day. And it was a game show in name only. The points were just thrown here. It was just a chance for funny people to be funny. So this is now after midnight because it starts at 12:30. Taylor Tomlinson, who's a very funny stand-up comedian, young, probably just 30 years old, something like that. So we're getting that younger demo late night. The only problem is it's an hour long, and this format's not great. You don't need an hour of this. But yeah, it's just a panel every night, different comedians or people from CBS shows. Like Max Greenfield is on, promoting his sitcom or what. So they have some random, just CBS personalities, but mostly it's just funny stand-ups. And it's good for the reason I like the other show is I'm discovering new people I'd never heard. I was like, wow, that person's really funny, and I'm broadening my comedy horizons. And it's one of those shows. I've just been DVRing them. I've got a bunch saved, and it's the perfect show to put on while you're cooking dinner or what. It's just a simple show to listen to and laugh. And each one has had really funny moments. I said, just the original was a half hour, and you just got. It was a lot more punchy. This one, they kind of stretch the games out a little bit, and it goes a little bit too long. But it's found its feet pretty quickly, and I'm enjoying it. They still do the same. They did hashtag wars, where each night, they put it out on their social medias, and you can send in the hashtag, and it ends with for the win. So it's basically the exact same format, just new hosts, new comedians. And then the other sitcom or the other game show, Fox has The Floor, which is
Rob Lowe?
Yes, Rob Lowe. It's completely ridiculous. I've watched every episode. I don't know why, but it is a big lit up floor, a grid with 81 spaces, 9x9, and a person stands in every box on the grid, and each one has an expertise. So one is U.S. presidents, one is rock stars, one is fruits and vegetables. They're complete, children's books, The Simpsons, just tons and tons of weird and then some are like bathroom items. So it's like I don't know how they assign. I'm guessing you didn't come with your own list of what I'm good at. I assume they just assigned them to people. But
they saw some guy really did a great job in the bathroom. They had a camera in there. You're the bathroom guy. You nailed it. You crushed it. This guy.
100%. But I do like the format. So they pick a random person, and you go up and you challenge somebody next to you. So there's 4 categories, abutting you, and you say, okay, I'll challenge you on your thing. And you go up and you do this trivia thing back and forth. Who can name the most things? Okay, you win his square. So if the challenger, if you beat the person, or say they do your category, so you only do one, you only do the category once. So now if you've beat that person, you take over their category. So you may have come in with U.S. presidents, but now you've got insects. So you may not have any idea what that category is, but you have to defend it. So you take over their part of the floor. So you can keep challenging people, or you can stop and you can go back to the floor and hope you just keep your amount of land. So it's trying to build the most ground. So there's just a strategy to it. There's, how confident are you in this stuff? But the main drawback is it's not trivia. The two people stand across from each other and have 45 seconds. And it's literally like the insects. We're going to show you pictures of insects. You name them. So it's your turn. This clock starts ticking. Ant, grasshopper, cricket. Like, you just have to go back and forth naming things. And if you pass, you lose 3 seconds. So whoever runs out of time first is eliminated. So literally bathroom items. It was soap, fingernail clippers. They showed pictures of things and you had to name them. That's what passes for trivia in American culture right now. It was literally, what are these things?
That sounds excruciatingly.
Sounds like kindergarten.
Yes.
That's what I said. This is sounds like a really great game for children.
Yeah. Donald Trump would be great at this game. You name 5 items.
100%. 100%. Best they've ever seen.
There's a couple.
Nobody's ever scored higher on this game show than Donald Trump.
There's a couple
bathroom items. He knows bathroom items. Go to toilet. Classified documents.
I was just getting ready to say classified documents.
Chandeliers. So yeah, there were a couple of categories like children's books. It would show the title of missing a word, like fill in the missing word. James and the Giant blank. Good night blank. Like, so that was at least okay. I have to think of a thing and name it. So there's a couple categories like that, but most of them are celebrities. It's like, name the celebrity, and they just throw up pictures of people. It's like there's no skill, and it is literally just, can you think off the top of your head with a lot of pressure?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna fumble?
Well, I watched something real similar to that theme, I guess. Another game show on Fox. They brought back once again name that tune, and this time it's Jane Krakowski. And can we talk about what Randy Jackson here for a minute? Like, have you guys seen Randy? There ain't no way that's Randy Jackson. It freaks me out. It's like he looks like a puppet. He looks like, you remember the Penny Hardaway commercials? The little Penny? And that's what he looks like.
Because he's lost weight or what?
It's not
he's
just
getting old.
that.
He's getting older.
Like, yes, he's lost weight, but like the way he doesn't move like a person.
Well,
like
he never did. He always his shoulders are kind of in like.
It's weird, dude. I like, if you told me that thing's a Disney audio animatronic, I'd be like, yep, that thing's straight out the Hall of Presidents.
Can't get it by you.
It freaks me out. Like, Carly and I were watching, I was like, what the hell? His hair, it looks like Barbie and Ken hair. Like, it looks like it's plastic. It's weird.
I can just see the producers that named that tune, or they're like, "Ooh, I saw some podcasts, did a review. Let's check in and see what they had to say about it."
But like, they won't show him for more than like half a second either. Like, it's
supposed to be you only get one.
No, there's no like Randy Jackson monologue ever. I mean, it's like you get a reaction from him where he makes an almost human move, and then the camera's off of him, and it's like back to her or the contestants or whatever. And like, all you ever really see are like his fingers like playing the piano. That is it. That's the most you see, because I'm telling you, dude, that
That's the uncanny valley for me, dog.
Yeah.
It looks like a Weekend at Bernie's situation.
I think I watched some of that a couple years ago.
Let's critique her.
Yeah.
How's she aging?
It's a
Rob Lowe's aging great, let me say.
Like a fine wine, Rob Lowe is. All right.
Yeah.
That's TV.
That's what we've been watching. Sort of.
I guess that'll do it. In this here fine old machine.
I would say maybe check out our Patreon. You too can be a Jesse for $1, be like Justin Lowe. And we would highly appreciate that.
Nice. Can you be a Jeffy?
You be a Jeffy. You get a Jeffy award for only $1.
Join the Patreon to get these inside jokes. We'll explain them to you. All right. If you're in Marietta, check out Asylum Comics for all your comic book needs. We can take credit cards at lightning fast speed now. SoProComics.com. Check out, we got some cool stuff coming soon. And we are Ka-Pow, the Pop Culture Podcast. My name's Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
Seth, bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the Pop Culture Podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the Pop Culture Podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the Pop Culture Podcast at gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.